Hey, what's up, guys? So, Street Fighter 4, I'm gonna say this, and it might make some people, Vortex is bad, Focus Attack is really bad, and I don't like Vortexing. Street Fighter 4 is substantially better than Street Fighter 6. I said it, I'm gonna say it. Yes, the resolution on here looks really bad. I generally like to have it windowed because I multitask and do stuff while I play sometimes, but for this video it looks a little weird. But I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna kind of go over it very simply and basic with just like a couple of characters that really show exactly what I mean by that. So, by just starting off, when you pick your character, one thing I really always appreciated about Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 3 as well, I'm not as much as a Street Fighter 3 person. Love the game, I respect the game. Street Fighter 4 to me was just, it's better because maybe it wasn't better of a game for certain people, but I liked that it gave players choices, just like Street Fighter 3. So one of the things, and this is the end of Street Fighter 4's lifespan, but this also existed, and I think it was Arcade Edition, the Double Ultras. I don't remember when this was introduced, but right off the bat, I like this, and this is something Street Fighter 6 doesn't have. It doesn't have the ability to really make decisions. So the Ultra combo is basically the equivalent of the Super 3 in Ultra or in Street Fighter 6. So that is like Super 1 is literally the equivalent of Super in this game, pretty much, right? But the Ultra, as you take damage, or critical as you get in Street Fighter 6, you get the Ultra as you take damage in Street Fighter 4. You're managing that, right? So I'm going to use Ryu as a very simple example and kind of compare him to Street Fighter 6, and then I'm going to kind of do the same with Cammy and DJ. So there's just three characters that are kind of staples, very popular characters. Ken might be an exception to the points I'm going to be making here, but so right off the bat, it's like the game makes you just use your brain. It makes you use your brain, and it gives you more room to make decisions and learn as a player. So right off the bat, the game's asking you, like, do you want the Ultra Combo Double? Do you want to have more options and versatility with your character, or would you like to get all the damage? And then for certain characters, not so much Ryu, but certain characters, most of the characters, or half of them at least, different Ultras serve better in different matchups. So you have to have the character knowledge. In Street Fighter 6, every single move that you have it at all times. You don't need to think about it. It's all handed to you. So you have all the tools, all the things. You know what to do. It's just do it, right? It's going to be a common theme. So I'm going to pick just Ultra Combo Double or whatever, right? I'm going to pick Ultra Combo Double. And I'm going to pick whatever. I'm going to fight against like Cody here. And I'm going to go over the mechanics of the game. So the core mechanics and the things that Street Fighter 4 introduced, Street Fighter 6 had, so on and so forth. And the depth to Street Fighter 4 is higher than Street Fighter 6. Fact. There is more depth to Street Fighter 4 than there is Street Fighter 6. Say it again. Street Fighter 6 is a duller, more watered down game. And I'm going to show you what I mean. So Street Fighter 6, right? So everyone's like, oh, drive rush cancels, like, so fucking cool. I can now cancel normals and do stuff. We have that ability in Street Fighter 4, right? Whatever, right? So I could do like, let's do something like this. Let's see if I can do it. Right? So I can do something like that. Or, go into jab. Ryu's not really good at these kind of links. But right there, right off the bat, there's depth. Some characters are better at canceling normals or special moves, which Street Fighter 6 cannot do. So Street Fighter 6, when you want to drive rush cancel, you cannot cancel your Hadouken. In Street Fighter 4, you can cancel special moves. So you can cancel special moves to extend your combos and to create possibilities with your characters. So in Street Fighter 6, I cannot cancel a special move. Right? You also cannot cancel special moves into Super 1. And in this game, you can. Thus creating more depth and possibilities when looking at your character, when you're looking at things. So Cody can cancel like Criminal Upper into his Super 1. Ken can cancel Fireball or Shoryuken into his Super 1. One of the things that Street Fighter 6 did, but I don't really like, is they created the ability to cancel special normals into your Ultra, basically. Because your Super 3 is basically the equivalent of your Ultra. So as you take damage, so it's your most powerful mechanic that does damage. So in Street Fighter 6, your most powerful mechanic is your Super 3. So your Super 3 is always going to be your most damaging single move. But what was really cool about 4 is in most cases, if you wanted to cancel or combo into your Ultra, you had to sacrifice your meter to do that. And what was interesting about that, and interesting about the next point I'm going to get into, is you had to have really good meter management. So you have the tools, you have the options to do things, but you need to manage your gauge between the rounds. So one thing that Street Fighter 6 does is they give you the meter at the start of each round. So at the start of each round, you can just do whatever the fuck you want to do. There's no consequences to anything that you're doing from the previous round. So if I'm Ryu and I'm like gonna win the round and I got something going on here, I could be like, oh, I'm gonna combo into my Ultra, I'm gonna take the round, and I use 1 bar to take this, but going into the next round, I now know that I'm depleted of a bar. If I had 1 bar and I wanted to get 2, I need 2 to FADC and make a special normal or a special move safer. But most often, when you want it, everyone was like, oh, FADC was so great or whatever, and like, oh, I could just like invincible reversal and like get a reversal and get your Ultra. Yeah, wow, I really timed that weird. It's been so long since I've done this shit. I'm also on an Xbox One controller at the moment. It's terrible. It's weird for me, very weird. But if you did that, you burned 2 bars and your Ultra to do that. You had a decision to make. If you were on Wake Up, someone was pressuring you, you wanted to do the DP, it didn't pan out, you lost something for that. And guess what? It's not going to replenish the next round. You're not going to have the opportunity to do that. So the game, just created ways for you to think about when you're doing something, and using your most powerful mechanic wasn't given to you. It just wasn't like, oh, I can just do a normal into my Ultra. For great damage. Let's say you're a low-level fighting game player, and you're not really great at them, right? You're not that good, you're casual. You could just, jump in and do that, and then get Ultra? I could just go... Even, in this game, if you wanted to do a jump in to your Ultra, you could. But you had to time it. You had to learn that shit. And then there was timing to that. Because as soon as you landed, you had to buffer that and get that up. Another thing that this game does very well, and Street Fighter 3 is the same, is combos feel really good. And what I mean by that is linking just feels like you did something. The game didn't necessarily give it to you. It wasn't like, oh, I just do this combo and then I can just go into Shoryuken. The ranges at which you could do things made sense. If you do the link, if you do the combo, it feels good. It feels like you timed something. It feels like you did something that took a little bit of effort. And then same thing with stuff like this. Doing crouching medium punch times 2 to crouching roundhouse, getting a knockdown, doing really extensive super combos. I missed it. But that's what I mean, missing it. I haven't played in a little bit. I need to learn the timing. I need to remember how to do something. It's not oh, I'm just gonna go hit crouching medium punch or medium punch, then the medium punch, and then super 1. It's all that stuff is so easy. It's so simple. And the characters in this game just had so much, everything just kind of flowed and, made sense. So, I can't just do any old Shoryuken in the corner and get, my heavy punch Shoryuken damage from just doing the, Tatsu, so easy. No, you have to know that only certain Shoryukens could juggle. You had to know, oh, shit, the light one doesn't work. Alright, I gotta try something else. Alright, can I do the medium? Oh, there goes the medium one. Oh, okay. Or, you know, doing combos mid-screen if you wanted to go into your ultra. I'm never gonna get it, but nah, it's never gonna happen. Nope. Nope. I can't even do it anymore. Because this is what I'm talking about. Like, I can't even remember the timing for it. Because it's been a while. But you get the point that I'm trying to make there. I'm playing like a scrub. I get it. It's Xbox. Control it. Give me a fucking break. Alright. The next thing I want to say is for DJ, right? So everyone's like, oh, DJ's like so much better. And DJ is like amazing right now. Let me tell you, DJ in this game mechanically, not tool-wise completely, but feels really good. So DJ can still do EX slasher to jab to combos in the corner. So he can still combo just like he can in Street Fighter 6. Another thing I want to go over before I forget, because I forgot, is the whole drive impact. Drive impact, right? So drive impact is like the new mechanic. Drive rush, like drive rush, drive impact, drive reversal. So basically, drive reversal is no different than V reversal from Street Fighter V. Pretty much a shitty or a useless mechanic. And they actually made it worse in Street Fighter V. So Street Fighter V before was like -1 or -2 or something on block originally. Now it's -6. So if you just read that, it's just like doing a regular reversal that doesn't do real damage and does great health. It's kind of shittier. In some instances, you want to use it because like Marissa will do Gladius or something, and you can V reversal or drive reversal it or whatever it is. But another thing that I wanted to go over is the drive rush is so good. It's basically just a little bit better of a focus attack. And in the long term of the game, it'll probably end up being just as effective. And if honestly, to be frank, focus attack is better than drive rush. It's 100% better than drive rush because focus attack allows for us to do the cancels from the special moves. So if you want to cancel your special moves, it gives you that choice. And it created a new meta of Street Fighter. It expanded the engine of the game. So in Street Fighter 3, right, you'd also have like a lot of jabs or a lot of shorts connecting to super. Like that was like the meta of Street Fighter 3 is short, super. Like that was like, well, not really the meta, but it was something that you could do in Street Fighter 3. But they didn't remove that. Here, I mean, you could still do that, but this game created new ways to go into supers and do things. Now, like I said, going back to Street Fighter 6, you can't do that. You can't do special moves into supers. And then you're like, oh, well, what about Super 2? We could go EX moves into super. You can also do that in this game. You can go EX moves into Ultra. Right? I think it's with this one. Let me make sure. Might not be. I know it's the light one. Is it K? Yeah, it's K. I know you could do it with the light one, or the super at least. It's been a while. Give me a break. But whatever. Cammy can do her super, and that works into Ultra too. You could also do things like that, like meaty special moves or meaty things into supers, into ultras, into whatever. Like the combo system or the way that this game functions was so much more expandable. Because you're like, oh, I want to do drive rush into my pressure, right? Like you can do that in this game. You can do normals into stuff, and you can do special moves into stuff too. You could still do the same things that you do in Street Fighter 6. The only thing is that Street Fighter 4 does more because it gives you the ability to cancel your special moves, and you cannot do that in Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6 is hilariously bad because Street Fighter 6 is just made most Super 1s and Super 2s not even really worth it to use because Super 3 is just that strong. It's like that good. And like there's so many ways to like reset in this game. It's really awesome. Like it's very incredible. Like Gouken, Seth, Akuma, Cammy, Balrog, like so many characters have ways to able like ways that actually truly reset and scare your opponent. When Abel was a Street Fighter 4 vanilla character. Don't give me, Seth was a Street Fighter 4 vanilla character. Gouken was a Street Fighter 4 vanilla character. All vanilla. And like the mix-up potential and the unique creativity of the characters was like unmatched. And like playing Abel takes real skill. It takes actual skill because you need to land the one-frame links, right? So what was it? Like that, right? That's a one-frame link. I didn't play Abel. This ain't my shit. But you need to learn that link, because then you go into change of direction. You can go into super, and then you get FADC that. And then go in your whatever, right? Let's see if I can even do this anymore. I completely forgot how to do this. But this is what's cool about it, is the game is technically sound. Like, there's some technical ability to this game. There we go. I'm not a complete idiot. I think I missed it. Yep, but you get my point. Like, you get my whole point. It's like the game actually rewarded you for being good. The game rewarded you for putting... Like, I can't even do that now. Like... I guess like it's been so long and I can't. Yay! But that's the whole point of making, is like doing things in this game feels good. It feels like you earned it. It feels like you weren't being like, oh well, you just have this critical super 3 and you're gonna get this comeback on me and like hit me twice, or we're gonna neutral jump tech throws. It's just like felt like it makes sense. Like it just feels like the better player is going to win more. And that's important to games. Not like, oh, well, they got a couple of non-throws, or, that Zangief got that lucky level 3 on me, or, oh shit, Ken hit me and I'm going full corner in one combo. It's like nothing like that is cheap in this game. The only thing that's cheap is when people are like, oh, the vortex. Okay, well, don't get knocked down in neutral. Don't fuck up in neutral. And that's the big thing. It's like you play neutral, and that's what this game has. Because in Street Fighter 6, you don't have neutral. Your neutral is, when am I going to drive rush? When am I going to do the super mechanic? And like so many of the characters, with probably the exception of Ken, because Ken is like really, really good in Street Fighter 6, I'll give it that. Probably the exception of Ken. And I'd even say Honda's better in this game. I would honestly say, now that the game's fleshed out more, Honda's probably better in this game. Or will end up being better in this game. Even though I thought Honda was really good like in the beginning. Is like Geef too. Imagine playing Street Fighter 6 Geef and being happy with it. Like, Geef hasn't been good since Street Fighter 4. It hasn't been fun to play since Street Fighter 4. I mean, Geef mains, am I wrong? Like, imagine having a lariat that doesn't cover cross-ups. Imagine doing an SPD that's actually 3 frames. Or 2 frames, or... yeah, I think it's 3 frames. And actually stopping that. Imagine actually having an EX reversal. Like, Geef is so much better and more fun in this game. Cammy is so much more technically rewarding in this game than Street Fighter 6. Akuma, well, we'll see when Akuma comes out. Ryu is better in this game. Like... thought he was great in the beginning, but now as I've played the game and stuff, Blanca is faster in this game. Maybe he's not necessarily better, but he looks a lot cooler. Blanca looks way cooler and is way more annoying to fight against in this game. And just everything about him is just fun. Like, fuck the command grab era of Blanca. I don't know. Like, yes, everybody always says with the new Street Fighter, everyone always complains about the last game and this and that, or likes it better. But you know what was fun about Blanca? It took skill. You had to piano your input. You actually have to know how to play Blanca. You actually have to, like, charge your moves. And you don't have a fucking Ultra that's 2 motions. You don't have, like, very, very simplistic lightning commands with quarter circle back. Same thing with Honda. Playing Honda in this game is rewarding. It feels good to play Honda. And them removing the core way that the character's been played since fucking 1992 is kind of an insult. It's literally kind of insulting. It's like, what? You don't want people to learn? Like, you don't want people to, like, get better at your game? You want to make people just instantly just have all the tools? Like, that's what Street Fighter 6 does, is it just says, okay, you can have all the tools up the rip. And the game is better than Street Fighter 5. Don't get me wrong. Like, don't get me wrong. It's better than 5. At least it's kind of fun. But to say it's like a great game, though, it's footsie orientated, is bullshit. Like, it's kind of bullshit. Like, this is a footsie game. Street Fighter 3 is a footsie game. These games are different. These games play better. They're faster. The footsies are real. Like, look at this movement. Just look at that. And that's just Blanca. Like, that's not even Chun. That's not even Chun-Li. Like, look at, like, Chun-Li's footsteps. It's just, like, it's amazing. And, like, Dudley, another example. Like, comboable overheads that aren't plus on block. Like, everybody has a plus on block overhead. Like, it's so dumb. But, like, look at Chun's walk speed. Yo, this bitch is flying. Flying. And doing shit, right? And, like, another character, pianoing. Learning how to actually do shit. I'm not good at it. Is it kicks? Or punches? I don't remember. It is punches. Okay. Well, that's what I mean. It's like the game rewards you for knowing how to play your character. The game rewards you for knowing the matchups, picking your ultras, making decisions, managing your meter, using your brain, thinking, well, okay, well, if I'm ahead on round 1, do I need to use my meter here for the comeback? Should I save it for round 3 if I need to? Same thing for your opponent. I need to win this round or else the game is over. I should look to spend my resources more. I should look to maybe be a little cautious of if I'm ahead in life lead. Okay, I have my ultra now. I just got it. Should I save it? Should I try to get more damage out of the ultra meter? What should I do for that? How should I play the game? Street Fighter 6 doesn't really give you decisions because even if you burn out, even if you make the mistakes and you're ahead in life lead, fuck it. You're going to get your bar back. Like, who cares? And that's the problem with the game and then you're rewarded for doing absolutely nothing in neutral. If you stand in neutral, you get bar back. If you do absolutely jack shit, you get bar. Even Street Fighter 3, you had to whiff normals, you had to do something to get bar. And Street Fighter 6 says, fuck it. Just take the meter. We're going to give it to you. And that's stupid. Constantly giving everybody ultimate damage for lack of execution. Constantly refilling gauge. Having the weirdest and craziest scaling on combos. When counter hit, if you are Ryu and you counter hit an anti-air and you do level 3, it does the same damage as a regular level 3. If you are also Ryu and you do a fireball mid-screen or something to your Super 1, it does less damage than if you use your Denjin charge move that you have to power up for and combo further. So giving up a resource, you get less damage. And there's certain combos where it's like, how did I get that damage? It just doesn't make any sense. The scaling in this game makes much more sense. There's a formula to it. And it doesn't seem like there's a formula or there's a rhyme or reason to how the structure of 6 is. Like I said, I'm going back on it. Street Fighter 6 is like a fun game. To some people, it's worth playing. But just because it's the newest game doesn't necessarily mean it's a better product and it's a better game. People that are good at fighting games, people that are good players, want to feel like they're rewarded for their skill and they're rewarded for the effort that they put into something. And it goes for any game, whether you're playing Call of Duty, whether you're playing Fortnite, whether you're playing Street Fighter, whether you're playing Marvel. It doesn't matter the game. Like, this is why the resurgence of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 has happened over MVCI. More people are playing that than going back to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Because people like games that reward skill and reward knowledge of your character
reward matchup knowledge, and reward good execution and just a good mental stack. And Street Fighter 6 doesn't have that. Street Fighter 6 is a better designed guessing game than Street Fighter 5 was. Street Fighter 5 was garbage because characters were incomplete until they were in V-Trigger. So you would go to V-Trigger and you're like, well, now I can do combos and now I can play the game, which is why the game felt like the the game was never decided until V-Trigger was popped. So everybody was just doing random shit until V-Trigger was popped. But Street Fighter 6 said, well, now we're just going to give you everything from the start, so now everybody can just go in and do whatever. And we're back at this situation where we have an overly offensive game again. We have reversals. That's great. We're in the same situation where if you don't have a reversal, you're kind of fucking dog shit in the game, which is fine. I'm very happy they put reversals in Street Fighter 6. I think that was great. The game needed it, thank God. But it's just like we need more defensive options. We need more defensive characters that are very good and not just JP who's chucking shit at full screen and you're frame trapped if you take a step forward while he's zoning you and you can't react to something and you have to just parry it because the game doesn't allow you to walk forward and block things. That's a whole other friggin' thing. But the point that I'm making is like if you look at Street Fighter 6's most technical character, which is like JP, nothing he does is difficult. Like learning his full screen punish into quarter circle forward medium kick, down down heavy punch, that takes like no effort. And then doing his level 2, his super 2 mix ups and stuff, that stuff's not that hard. You spend like 20 minutes in training mode and anybody can do that plays fighting games. Like anybody. And you compare that, I'm going to even give Street Fighter 5 credit here to like Street Fighter 4's 5's Manat. Manat was hard. Oro was very difficult to play. Or Urian, doing all those Aegis reflector setups. I didn't like 5, but at least I will respect 5 in that it gave execution. There was some form of execution to that game that was rewarding, and that, or Gil, or whatever character, Mika, the setups with the fucking Nadeshko or whatever. There was something to that game. I didn't like it. It was overly offensive. It was a fucking mess. But I do respect that at least it had some feeling of execution. And I feel like Street Fighter 6 doesn't even really have that. The only thing that's like maybe remotely difficult to do in Street Fighter 6 is like some of the JP stuff, maybe a couple Blanca things. None of that is really hard, and it's a shame.